Welcome to another new episode of the Get Organised with Decluttr Me podcast with myself, Shelina. This week is my guest, Ibrahim Abu-Ras, who has a podcast with his two mates called Sneakerjeye. Unsurprisingly, they talk about everything sneaker culture. So we met by chance in his apartment, nothing dodgy, with his wife. And I got to see his amazing vast collection of trainers, or sneakers as they call it here. And I have to say they were pretty well organised, and you can see it in the background right now. So as he talks about sneakers, and I see a lot of people with them, you know, with huge sneaker collections, I thought it would be great to get some insight into this phenomenon and to find out what is the best way to look after them. So welcome, Ibrahim, to the Get Organised podcast. Thank you so much for being on.
Thank you so much for having me. Appreciate it.
Oh, no. Well, you know, as soon, like I got so excited with you being there, and I was like, oh my God, we need to talk. Because you have, as you can see, that collection, and you know, I have one pair of it, the Air Jordans. They're Air Jordans, right? Not Force.
Yeah. No, they're Jordan 1 mid.
Yeah, I have one. You have many.
A lot. Yeah, a lot.
So I was like, let's talk about this, because this is you're not unusual. You're the norm now in Dubai and in the UAE, and like actually around the world. Like loads of people have big collections. So yeah,
I'm a bit on the excessive side, but yeah, after lockdown worldwide, and people were getting paid, but they weren't able to spend it anywhere. So then they were just started collecting, whether it's sneakers. I remember Lego sets became a big thing as well,
yes.
Like puzzles, Lego sets.
Yeah.
Surely you must have been to a house where you've seen like a Lego set or two. Yeah. I'm 100% sure.
Yeah.
So those can get out of hand too.
Yeah.
So yeah, it depends on how you want to manage your collection. So it's up to each person.
Yeah, the Lego one was bad. I have had a client who his partner was in another country. He was locked down in here, and he just did Lego, and he has beautiful cities. He's made all the cities. It's amazing. But yeah, it's a lot. And then, you know, you put them on windowsills. It's a lot with any collection. I suppose it happens. But let's get into this, right? So let's start with, what was your first pair of sneakers, and like, how did you start your collection? Have you got them here? Your first pair?
So see, the thing is, when I consider my first pair of sneakers, it's the one that for me started I'm not going to call it obsession, because then I'm just going to dig a hole for myself. Yeah, my passion or my hobby.
It's a passion, right?
Right. So the first one that kind of started everything. So I have it, actually.
Okay.
It's in, again, one of the boxes, but it's on the bottom.
All right. Okay.
But it is this one. So,
ooh, okay.
Yeah. So this sneaker, it's a Jordan 1 as well, similar to yours, but this is a high. Yours is considered a mid. This one, I lined up for it like 3 hours, let's say 3-4 hours. It's not that long, by the way. Trust me. I've lined up a day. So that's something like that.
Outside, day?
This is, yeah. Like when it comes to, because basically what the store would do is that they would say that we have this sneaker dropping. It's a first come, first serve. Yeah. So there's an unwritten rule between people, let's say sneakerheads, that first come, first serve mean there's a lineup. People respect the lineup. They stand in line, and they just wait for the store to open. Yeah. Okay. In the US and in Europe, it can go up to a day, 2 days, depending on the thing. I mean, in the US, it's even more crazy. People lined up for new iPhones. So, you know what I mean? So, yeah. So then basically the sneaker, it's called, I don't know if you know, but each sneaker has a name, like, or a given name to it. So this one is called the Rookie of the Year. Why? Because don't want to bore you with the details, but for me, I love the story behind the shoes. That's what mainly draws me to them. So you see the color, it's like a golden brown suede. Yeah. And when Michael Jordan won his Rookie of the Year award, he was wearing a sweater of the same color, same material almost. And then even here on the side, on the wings, they have, I don't know if it's very clear, but it has his statistics of the year. You know, so they put 1984 to 1985. That it was that season. He did 2,300 points, etc. And they put part of his speech, like a sentence, which is, I find it nice. It says, "This award is nice, but I just feel it is very important for each individual to go out and contribute to his team," which it's a very good message. You know, So this is the first one that started it. And, once you get the high of lining up and actually getting the sneaker, it's such a rush. And I've lined up before and didn't get it. So you know what I mean? Like I lined up. There was one I lined up for 6 hours, and the person in front of me got the last pair in my size.
Oh no!
Yeah. So then here, what happens is you start to think, you're like, if I just came like 15 minutes earlier, or like 20 minutes earlier, you would have gone. But it is what it is. It's okay. Yeah. That's the thing. You have to accept all of them, the wins and the losses. But this is the one that started it.
Crazy. But that's actually quite cool. When I was young, I was a Bulls fan. So and it was during Michael Jordan, like Jordan and Pippen were the key guys. So I watched the documentary on Netflix. So it was just reliving my childhood. So I do love that.
The documentary caused a lot of problems for sneakerheads who were sneakerheads before that, just because now there's something called the Last Dance tax. So the documentary is called The Last Dance. Yeah. So let's assume this sneaker I can buy it in the aftermarket for let's say $200. I'm just throwing a number.
Right. Okay.
Before the Last Dance. After the Last Dance, now it would cost $400. Just because more people are aware of it, they love it and they want to buy. So now there's more demand. So now, there are some colorways that are triple the price even. So
that's mad.
So we love the docu-series, but we also I hate it because it made it harder for us to buy.
It's made it more expensive for you. So
it's just more expensive. Yeah.
So what is your favorite one then? So you showed me your first. What's the favorite?
Right. So I don't know if you can. I'll try to give you this is what I have in the living room on display. Obviously,
right.
Some of them I've stored other ones that are not on display, but my favorite ones have to be this one. So you're a Bulls fan, so obviously it's the same, but this is the high. Yeah, no,
it's high.
It's the same, but this is the high version.
See,
exactly.
Good taste.
Yeah, so this colorway is called the Bread, which is just black and red. So it's the Bread, Jordan 1 Bread, and this is the first one that's he came up with. The first one he wore. Let's say.
Right.
So this is in a way, this is what started the sneaker culture. The whole movement of sneaker culture, because Michael Jordan kind of spearheaded that in the 80s and the 90s.
Yeah, he did. Well, that's why I bought it, and it was like, it's the colors of the Bulls, so I was like, and it goes with a lot of things. So but does it have the name on it? Like, where is it? I mean, sorry, my trainers are a bit dirty.
I know the names are not on the thing. So on the inside, like the tag, you just have it's called the code, the color code or something. But the names are. Before, it used to be the fans that would give the names of the shoes, not the companies. But now, let's say in the past 10 years or so, like now the Nike or the Jordan brand comes up with the shoe and they name it. But before, that wasn't the case. They would just come up, like it would be called Jordan 1 black/red, and then people would call it whatever it is. Yeah, sorry. But this is the one that started it on.
Sorry, my cats decided to join in and
that's fine. That's fine.
But yeah, so oh my god, that's cool. That's so cool. So I have your favorite one. So how do you decide what goes into your collection? Because this fascinates me that people have how do you decide what is what in there?
That's obviously the first question, I guess, anybody that regardless whether it's sneakers or anything, obviously, when you see somebody with a collection, you ask them, how do you buy, what do you buy, etc. So now I think it's a cycle for me. So any person that starts collecting and they get this, I want to start collecting sneakers. Unfortunately, people just go on and buy anything they can find because in their head, they're like, I'm so late in the game. Now there are people that have been collecting for 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. I need to kind of catch up. So then people will start buying left and right. Anything that comes out, they will buy. And that's phase one, let's call it. Let's call it the baby phase, where you're just buying everything that you want.
Right.
Not really you want. Some things you don't even want them, but you're like, okay, it's a Jordan. I like Jordans. I will buy this Jordan. Right. Even though you don't really like the color, you don't like the style, but you will buy it.
Okay.
So that's one. But then you start to mature a bit and you're like, okay, let's say 6 months ago, I had one pair. Now I have 15. All right, I need to relax.
Right.
So then you actually you're like, okay, out of these, which is my favorite? Like models, let's say, not the color, let's say the model, because like you saw, yours is the Jordan 1 mid, there's Jordan 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 until like 30 something.
Right. Okay.
So then you need to decide what is the thing that, which model I like the most.
Right.
And then from that, you kind of be like, okay, for me, I like Jordan 1s. As you can see, all of them, they're the similar style.
Yeah.
My favorite is Jordan 1. So then I was like, okay, I love Jordan 1. So I would like to collect Jordan 1s mainly. But then, of course, you get attracted to other stuff. And then, you get for example, maybe a different brand, maybe Asics. I have a lot of Asics as well. I love Asics shoes. I have some Adidas here and there, some Yeezys. But what it comes down to is what makes it fun for you. So for me, I like I said at the beginning, I like the stories behind sneakers.
Right. Yeah.
So most of my sneakers, if not all, I would like to say most. I cannot say all, but most of them, there's this either a story or a reason behind the color, behind the design,
right,
etc.
Okay.
So even ones that Michael Jordan himself in history didn't like. So by the way, the Jordan 1 model, the one that you have, I have.
Yeah.
Michael Jordan didn't like it. So
really?
Yeah. Why? So Michael Jordan, when they showed the Jordan 1, at the time it was just, I think, Air Jordan or whatever. That's it. He didn't like the design. And then they did a Jordan 2. And then when the Jordan 2 happened, he didn't like the design as well. And then he was on the verge of leaving. And he wanted to initially sign with Adidas.
Right.
Keep in mind, this is back in the 80s. Nike is such a young brand.
Yeah.
And then they got a guy called Tinker Hatfield. And they're like, please, man, like Michael Jordan's going to leave us. Help us out.
Yeah.
So then he designed the Jordan 3. And that's when Michael Jordan, he's like, okay, like this I like. And then he stayed on. And with Michael, they collaborated more. And then there's 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 11, till I think Michael Jordan on court played till he wore a Jordan, I think 17 or 18. Everything after that came out after his retirement.
Right. Okay.
So you need to know which style that you like for sure, and concentrate around that. And then what do you like? For me, I like the stories. So all my sneakers have stories around them. For example, this one, I'll show you one. All right. So this one.
Yeah.
All right. It's black and white essentially, but you see this is called the swoosh, basically the Nike swoosh. It's different shades of green. This is called the Jordan 1 Sports Illustrated. Why? It's because the green is inspired by the cover when Michael Jordan was on the cover of Sports Illustrated, and he was wearing green hints of other stuff. However, Michael Jordan did not like the Sports Illustrated cover. You know what I mean? But
he doesn't like a lot of things, does he? Though, I mean,
he's Michael Jordan, so I think he's allowed to. He's allowed to.
Yeah, I suppose. But he's a grumpy old man. Even when he was young, he was a grumpy old man.
He was. Yeah. I would say that. I mean, you saw the documentary, so you saw when his teammates talked about him and how he was in practice, but then. Different mentality, different goals and stuff. Well, so I would say that. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think with super athletes, they're all, I have a feeling a lot of them are because I work on Formula One, but they're on the spectrum. Right. So that's why they're super, athletes, because they're so one-minded and dedicated on that thing that they're doing. So I think that's what Michael Jordan is. Exactly. He was amazing to watch.
Yeah, and the thing is, we only see them, let's say, when they reach us in the spotlight, whether it's the NBA or the Formula One or in the football teams. But they have been working tirelessly since they were children.
Yeah.
So to cultivate that mentality, it didn't come up in a month. It's been years in the making.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. So, all right, let's talk about the boxes. Okay.
All right, let's get to it.
Yeah, because I mean, there were a lot of boxes, and there's always a lot of boxes when I go to people's houses. You are I saw it, so you keep the boxes. I mean, they're piled up behind as well.
Yeah.
Are you going to sell them, or are you just keeping them because it goes with, why are you keeping boxes? Tell me.
All right, so okay, so for me, if you would in terms of sneakerheads, there are people that are resellers, let's call them. Resellers are the people that buy and sell because it's just a commodity to them. And there are people who are collectors. So like myself, I like to collect different sneakers, more than I need for sure. But then for me, it's a collection, kind of like an art gallery type thing.
Right.
So I would wear some, I would not wear some. And there are people that are just casual, you know, they love sneakers, but then they're like, I'm not going to buy and keep them. I'll just buy one. I'll wear it till it's done. I'll buy another one. So the boxes. For me, I'm a
the box is gone already. Like the box went the day I bought it. So like, yeah, sorry.
But as a collection, no, that's fine, completely fine. But yeah, I agree. That's what most, let's say, sneakerheads are, or people that are interested in sneakers now. But as a collector, the box is very important. Why? Okay. Because the value drops without the box.
Right.
So for me, some sneakers, whether worn or not worn, maybe at some point I would like, it's kind of like an investment.
Right.
You know, like my income doesn't allow me to invest in a lot of houses or, you know, like that type of stuff, or like watches even. So like, but sneakers I can. So I can buy sneakers. I can, let's say, buy 5 and maybe not wear any of them. But I know for a fact that in a matter of 2, 3, 5 years that their value would go up at least 70%. So then if I want to sell them at that point, then I would be making money. It's a long-term investment. So that's the difference between collectors and resellers. Resellers will not buy sneakers that are long-term investments. Right, they will only buy something that they know they can sell in the next day, in the next week.
Yeah.
And they would buy that. However, me, I don't really look to resell. Sometimes like the opportunities are just so good. Like you would buy a sneaker, you might not even know it. And then when you just look on, so there's an app called StockX. I don't know if you heard of it. It's basically like a marketplace for sneakers, not jewelry, I would say, clothes, bags, etc. And they would tell you what's the market value for something. Right. So then I would buy something, let's say it's 1,000 dirhams or 700 dirhams, whatever. And then when I look at StockX, I'm like, okay, its value right now is 3,000.
Wow.
I mean, why not? You know, like if I can sell it, then why not? Yeah. So it depends. But for the most part, it's a collection for the long term. By the time, let's say I'm bored of having a lot of sneakers, then I would just sell them. And without the box, the value goes down.
Well, then you can buy a house, but if you sell all the sneakers, isn't it?
Inshallah. I mean, with the way, inshallah, but not with the way the real estate is right now.
That's true. That's true.
Tough. Yeah, but the box is very important to keep the condition of the shoes. It's not even the box. Like inside the box, you know, like there's the papers.
Yeah.
The paper is important. And something that came up recently is that some people even keep the receipts. Right. I keep the receipts when I can, because it's just the fact that now it's become much easier to buy fake shoes, the fake sneakers. And then, so some people wouldn't even trust everything. They would need a receipt.
Right.
Which is understandable to a limit, but then some stuff that you bought 5, 10 years ago, you would not have a receipt for.
Yeah.
And then, but then there's something else called a legit check, which is you have people or an app that tells you, it's like and even online you can check like how to know if yours is original or fake. Right. And I've looked at sneakers so much that when I look at a pair of shoes, I'll know if it's original or not. Yeah. But sorry, to answer your question in a shortest way after all this long explanation, it's just to keep the value, because it drops the value otherwise.
So where is the best place to keep them? I mean, if you have so many trainers and so many shoes, I mean, you do, and like you don't have enough room, is it fine to just put it in a storeroom or in a store, you know, like, you know, those outdoor ones, which are like air conditioned? Like, what is the optimum kind of way to store them?
Optimum, in a way, kind of like how, no, I wouldn't say like high-end art and stuff, but it needs to be a place where it is the temperature controlled, humidity controlled, because in the end, it's material. You know, it's leather or it's suede, especially if it's leather with a lot of heat, a lot of humidity, it deteriorates. It this part, which is the midsole, this part, over time it turns yellow.
Yeah,
so it does, you need to keep it in a place that controls the humidity and the temperature. Outdoor storage areas, not recommended, to be honest, because even if they're inside the box is made out of cardboard, which itself deteriorates.
Right.
So what I would say is, if let's say, try to be smart with your own house. So the bed that we have, like the bed, like I don't know if you remember in the bedroom, but the bed, it's from IKEA actually. If you open it, under it is storage. So I have a lot of the boxes there. I don't think you opened that.
No.
But under the bed, when you open the mattress thing, it's whole layer under it is free for storage.
Okay.
So you can. So I put a lot of boxes there. I moved some boxes to my family's house.
Right.
Like not just boxes, shoes as well. Like some shoes that I know I'm not gonna wear.
Yeah.
I moved them. I only kept the ones that are here with these like I think they're called like acrylic, plastic, whatever boxes. Because they're on display, so they look good and they're protected at the same time. Like the boxes protects them from humidity as well. So that's very important.
And where did you get these boxes? Because I've seen them in the Container Store in the US, but it's very expensive to ship it here.
Right. So I think there are different places you can find on Amazon. To be honest, you can find on AliExpress. You can find higher end ones, of course. But in the end, they all do the same job. As long as the door. So like when you look at the door here, the way it opens, can you see it? Yeah, kind of. Here in the corners, you just need to make sure that when it closes, it doesn't leak any humidity or air. And you need to make sure that the doors are like sturdy so that they don't loosen up with time. And that should be it. And really, that's all there is. And they're good. And what I like about these boxes is that they're good for displaying. If you have a collection, you want to display it, this is the best way to do it. Some people, they buy like shelves and they just put them like that, but then dust forms, etc. So you have to keep cleaning them. With this, you don't really need to clean any dust. Like the container on the outside, sure, but that's about it.
Yeah, that's what I thought. And I mean, I have dealt with boxes for shoes and it was from Amazon, but they were flimsy. And, you know, I mean, I've seen the Container Store ones in the US and even here, like people have bought them. So your one is very good because it closes properly. But I have seen some ones that are just so cheap, it's pointless. And then it starts flopping, like the whole unit.
Exactly.
Like, you know,
exactly.
Especially because they're heavy, like, you know, especially for guys, it's heavier than the women's.
So. Like the average, I would say average weight of like Jordans, at least from my size, the bigger sizes, they would be at least like 3 pounds, maybe 2 to 3 pounds. So if you get something that's not sturdy, then of course it will start to like, what is it called? I forgot the word, but it starts like I don't know what's the word.
Yeah.
But you get me. You know what I mean? Like with time, it's just fatigue of the material, I guess. And the thing is, because they're sturdy, they can be stacked on top of each other. So like I have 5 on top of each other. And they're very sturdy. I can move them, but nothing happens to them because they're just built in that way.
Yeah, no, you did. Yeah, it does. It does. But did you see there was a guy this week, I think, on Instagram I saw he has a house in Dubai. He made a whole room.
The wall. Yeah, I know. Dalton. Yeah, I know the guy. That room is insane. But if you like, he has, I think, over 1,000 pair of sneakers. So when you reach that level, like, it kind of gets, you need a house for the sneakers, you know? Like
it's practically a whole extension to the house. So how many have you got?
How many I've got? Good question. The last count I did, I would think it would be somewhere over, it's surely above 120, something like that.
Is that all? Really?
Exactly. See, like when you look at it, you're like, "What?" Yeah, but when you see the guys like Delton and these people with the walls of sneakers, then you look at mine, you're like, "Oh, okay, that's fine."
Yeah, it's perspective. But his was mental. Like that was bonkers.
But the guy has been buying and collecting sneakers, I think, like for 15 years now or something, and 15, 20 years, and I think like he's able to, you know, to spend that money. So I think surely there must have been like weeks where he bought like 10 pairs of shoes in a week. So I mean, good for him, and that's something insane. I don't know if I'll reach that level, to be honest. I would like my wife to be happy.
I don't know if your wife will let you. Yeah, happy wife. Happy
wife.
I don't think. Exactly. I've met your wife.
Yeah. So
you have to choose one collection.
Indeed. And I think naturally growing up, my dad indirectly built the collecting, let's call it tick in me, because we used to watch a lot of these shows about like storage wars, storage hunters, where they go buy a storage unit and then they find what's inside. So then that built inside me that everything has value, and then for the right buyer. So sneakers, and then I have something else called Funko Pops. I don't know if you've seen them. They're
yes,
like
I saw
small.
I organized them. Yeah, we put them away.
So the Funko Pops you've seen, that's after me selling 130 pieces. So that I've sold 130 pieces.
But people are obsessed here. I've got so many clients here in their 20s, early 30s and younger who have Funko Pops. And nobody has one or two, except for the client today had two only out of the box.
Oh, okay.
So it was very bad. It was out of the box.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So if a person has out of the box ones, it's because they don't care about Funko Pops, but they like that character or that whatever, and they want it on their desks or something. But when you're buying it as a collection, same to shoes, you cannot get them out of the box. You have to put them in box protectors. Does
it even have value? Because these Funko Pops, I mean, every house I go to literally has Funko Pops. I think I'm the only house that doesn't, and I'm gutted I didn't buy the Queen's one when I should have bought the Queen. Okay. So, yeah.
No, see, here's the thing. Again, everything has value, but you need to have the knowledge behind it to understand it.
Right.
So, of course, not every Funko Pop has value. Not everything that comes out. Some of them, yes. Like some of them, I would buy it at a price. And there is one there are two that I bought. I think for those both, I paid 1,000 dirhams for at the time, but I sold them for
5,000 dirhams. You sold them for 5. Those tiny little things, listeners, viewers, these things.
Do you want me to show you one?
Yes, show everyone what a Funko Pop looks like. If you don't know, just have a look. They're this big, like this big. It's nuts.
Yeah. So this is one, for example.
Is this signed?
Yeah. So funny enough, my wife and I went with our friends to, I don't know, do you know Joe Coy, the comedian?
Yeah.
He had a show in Dubai.
Yeah.
So when I went at the merchandise store, he was selling Funko Pops. A bit expensive, not gonna lie, a bit over the usual price. But I'm like, I love it. And it has, so with Funko Pops as well, like just to give you a tip, something to know if something has more value or not, if it has somewhat of a sticker on it. Most of these have value because they're special edition ones or limited or etc.
Right.
So this is you can only buy it from the tour that he's doing.
Yeah.
So I bought it, and then on the way out, actually, we saw him walking, and we were looking for him to get it signed, but we couldn't. But then my wife, she saw him at the corner of her eye, and then she took the Funko Pop and she sprinted to him, and she's like, "Can you sign it?" And then as he's walking, he signed it.
Oh, wow.
So it's signed by Joe Coy. So value-wise, now forget value, like sentiment-wise, like the story, I never forget it.
But what your wife did for you, man. Like that's that's a special one, considering she's exasperated by your Funko Pops.
Yeah, but
that's love.
So the two that I bought, both of them were limited to like 300 or 500 pieces worldwide.
Wow.
So exactly, stuff like that, then you know that the value will go up.
Yeah.
So and if you know, and you need to find the right buyer. So the guy that I found, he's a guy that wanted to start his collection but on limited stuff. So I'm like, perfect, I got the things for you.
Oh my God.
So then that's
crazy. What is the rarest pair of sneakers you have?
Rarest pair? That's crazy. Funny enough, it's not a Jordan or a Nike. Let me show it to you. I have it somewhere here. Yeah, I got it. So I will show you two. Because they're different, they're rare in different ways. So let me show you the first one, the Nike one. So this one. All right.
This one was on that Netflix film.
Yeah. I think the one with Eddie Murphy.
Yes.
And Jonah Hill.
So it literally came out the day before I came to your house. And as soon as I saw it, I said it to Nada. I went, that was in that movie yesterday. And she was like, what are you doing? Yes. So that's a rare one.
This is the rare one because there's a skateboarder called Sean Witherspoon, and he retired and stuff, but he collaborated with Nike on this. This was his first collaboration. And what makes this special is because there are two different models, one thing called Air Max 1 and one called Air Max 97.
Right.
So the upper part, which you see, like, it's the shoes where you see that they're like this. That's Air Max 97. But the rubber, the midsole is actually Air Max 1. So what he did is that they switched and they put both of them together. So that's why this one is called the Air Max 197. And it's corduroy, like, what do you call it? Like, it's so nice. It's amazing. This one I looked so hard to find in a right price. Like, obviously I could buy it for 5,000-6,000 dirhams, but I'm not going to pay that money for shoes. Like, so in the end, I found the guy that sold it to me for 2,000. And for me, I know for the average Joe, 2,000 for a pair of shoes is too much. But when you know how rare this is, like, and stuff, and to find it, terms it's called dead stock. So dead stock means never worn, never touched, never even tried on. So to find a pair that's dead stock for 2,000 dirhams, it's insane. So this is in terms of rarity.
Have you tried it now, or is it not going to be ever worn?
No. This is I wear it all the time. I love this one. Yeah, because this is for me one that is I'm never gonna sell, and I love the shoe so much. And even if I would sell it, I don't mind wearing it and selling it after, because I know there will be people who want to buy it.
Yeah,
this came out like 7 years ago, so
really?
it's like 2017 or 2016. So it's pretty rare. Yeah. So that's in terms of that. I don't know how many pairs came out, to be fair. Like, maybe usually, like, with these collaborations, like at least 5,000 to 10,000 would come out.
Right.
However, the other shoe that's not a Nike that I wanted to show you, and the reason why I'm saying in terms of rarity by definition, it's this one. So this shoe, it's by a brand called 10 January.
Right.
It's a very independent type brand. They're handmade, and each silhouette is about a city. So this is Paris, obviously.
Yeah,
you can see it.
Yeah, the colors. Yeah,
only 30 pairs are made whenever he makes one.
Wow.
So it's only, this is one of 30. So in terms of definition of rarity, like, this is the most rare because it's one of 30 only.
Because I have seen that branding.
Really?
You're right. Well, because of the type of clients I have. Yes, I have seen it, but only very, 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 very few times. I mean, I've been doing this for 10 years.
True.
So the fact that I've only seen it once or twice, maybe 3 times max, that's saying something. Because, most of the time I'll see all designer stuff and luxury stuff, and it's the same old stuff, handbags, everything's even an Hermes bag is the same thing.
Yeah.
I'm very blasé about it, and like trainers, like, Air Force. I've got a lot of clients who collect Air Force. So there's a lot of them. You having Jordans there's not that many I've seen, but Air Force seems to be the thing that people love. If they collect Air Force for some reason.
Air Forces are the everyday shoes, let's call them. Sorry for the noise, but Air Forces are like the everyday shoes. I hate it when I see people wearing beat up Air Forces, like they're white supposedly, but they're like gray. Like, I mean, let the shoes rest. You know what I mean? Like, come on, like, what are you waiting for?
Imagine what it's like for me when I have to like try and convince them to declutter it, and they won't, and they look skanky, and I'm like, dude, no one wants them.
No, that's that's true. Actually, one thing that I like to do is I like to kind of recycle shoes when I can, not mine, like other people's. So like, I'll show you. I'm just talking about, this is my sister's Air Force.
Right.
As you can see, it's it's seen its days.
Yeah.
So one thing I do is I customize shoes sometimes. Like I started it for fun, but then it kind of evolved a little bit. So then I took this and I just practiced and I did this. It's not fully done, but
wow.
Yeah. So I kind of like trial and error, like I did somewhat of like
that's really cool.
Yeah, so that's one thing I would suggest to anybody who has beat up shoes to do, but please don't just keep wearing them. Like it's not.
No, that's amazing, because the thing is, it's the whole repurposing thing. And I mean, I watched a documentary about sneakers on one of the British channels recently, and they were saying, because there's so much stuff being decluttered and put into landfills, one of the brands, I have a feeling it was Adidas or one of them, they take all the old soles and everything and then make new one. They're recycling in it.
Yeah. So it's Nike, Adidas has been doing it now. ASICS started. I think Nike were the first, not the first. Nike the first I heard of, but surely I could be wrong. But yeah, they would recycle the shoes. I think I have a pair of Jordans that have somewhat of recycled in them. It's this one.
Yeah, because they put it on the soles, don't they? They recycle the sole bit.
Yeah. So this one, for example, they're called
That's
the
a nice one.
So if you don't mind, I'll just show you the bottom part. I've never worn them, so not yet. But you see, like, this is recycled material.
Yes,
old shoes, extra material cloth, extra material rubber they had at the factories. They would recycle it. So it's like, I remember they would say like it's like 70% recycled, made of 70% recycled material. So stuff like that. That's actually pretty cool. Like it's less waste. It's a very nice shoe. I haven't worn it yet. A lot of these I haven't worn yet, but like
I'm surprised. Really, you haven't worn all of those trainers of yours? Like you'd need to wear them every day, like a different pair every day.
But see, now what happens is that there's the debate of if you're a true sneakerhead, you need to wear all your sneakers and that. But I mean, in the end, like what I would say is then if somebody has 5 houses, does he need to live in all 5? No, like that's not the case. You know what I mean? Like he probably buys and sells, or collect. He just has properties around the world, or watches or whatever. You don't need to wear all of them. So I like having them, and I know for a fact that because for me, I don't tend to look at collecting money as money, because I don't like to hold money, because I know it'll be spent somewhere. I'd rather put it somewhere where I know that I can get it back at some point. And that sneakers is something that I'm passionate about, so I can know where to buy, what to buy. But I mean, you could choose your own thing,
We all have our thing, and like I always say that to clients, we all have our thing. My thing is Havaiana flip-flops. I have between me and my mum, we have about 50 pairs, but I wear all of them because I like to wear them to work, and I wear them out and stuff. So they're never going to be collector items. I don't care if they're rare. I'm just like, I'm going to wear them. But
you never know. You never know.
But everybody, every client, everybody has a thing. Your thing is sneakers and Funko Pops. So that's your thing.
Right.
But it's fascinating. It's been, like so fascinating to find out all this stuff. It's blown my mind. I mean, because I always take the piss out of all the clients, when they've got loads of trainers. I'm like, why have you got so many boxes? But it is interesting to know why and what and how, and the fact that there's been
some like I don't mean to turn it a bit into educational. It's just because when you're asking me questions and I want to explain something to you, I have to you know what I mean? So I don't want to bore you or the audience, but I mean it's good common knowledge. I mean, right now, because sneakers are part of the culture now, so when it comes up in a conversation around you, what is going on, what's going on.
Exactly. And the thing is, it's like, like you have your wife, she has married into the shoe collection. He was, most people like, oh my God, what is this nonsense? And I have a lot of wives, some husbands, but mostly wives who have to deal, or partners who have had to deal with the same thing, going, why? Why are they taking up the space with these shoes and these boxes? So now there's been an explanation for the sneakers. It still doesn't explain why women buy a lot of shoes and heels. We've got a different reasoning, but that's another podcast episode we'll talk about.
But I think even with heels, it applies. The same logic applies. There are some heels that are limited, that for sure can be sold later on. I don't know if the value, in terms of value, it goes up like sneakers, but I know for a fact that if you like pay 5,000 dirhams on a pair of, I don't know, Valentino, whatever, you can sell it for at least 3,000.
No, it's not as good. The market resale market for luxury items is not great. It's for bags, but shoes,
bags,
especially shoes. If you've worn the shoes, kalas, the value is it's terrible. It's
the same applies with sneakers. Applies with sneakers.
I suppose at least with sneakers, it's harder to damage the soles and to make it look like it's been worn. Whereas with heels,
there are ways to keep it clean and to make it very fresh. For sure.
So you don't get that with heels. So that's the big problem. So the value is terrible. So, but anyway, right. So I love to find out what people are watching right now on TV or movies, because that's my other obsession, like decluttering, organizing, watching TV. So what are you watching right now that everybody should be watching?
Well, I watch series and I watch anime. So there's two different styles. But in terms of series, have you seen The Last of Us?
I've started. I'm on episode 3, which I might start tonight. I might.
Yeah, and they just released the 4th episode yesterday, I think.
It's very drama dark, so it takes a lot. I like happy things, so it's
okay. One of my favorite video games is The Last of Us, because the series is based on the game. So and I've heard about the series like for 2 years that they're making it, and I've been dying. And when I heard that it's HBO production, I'm like, it has to be good, because they did Game of Thrones and etc. So I think Chernobyl as well. So it has to be good, and so far it hasn't disappointed.
No, it's
more drama, but it hasn't.
But I heard the 3rd episode is supposed to be amazing, and it's got the guy from The Office who I love. So, and I follow him on Twitter. So, what's his name?
I forgot his Offerman, something Offerman.
Yeah, Nick Offerman. That's it. Yeah.
Nick Offerman,
So I'm gonna watch that. So I heard it's a very good episode.
Prepare yourself. Yeah, it's a very good episode.
So finally, how can people find you on Sneakerjeye? I have to pronounce it right. Sneakerjeye?
Sneakerjeye.
Okay.
That's fine. That works.
Okay.
Basically,
anyway,
this is.
How can you tell them how they can find you?
This is the literal translation of sneakerhead, but in Arabic, like in a Middle Eastern accent. So that's the meaning of the name.
Right.
Well, yeah, you can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube. Same thing, Sneakerjeye. Sneaker, then Jeye.
Okay. And I'll put it in the show notes as well.
All right. Okay. Thank you so much. You'll find us on Instagram as well. We're just gonna start kicking off our 3rd season, and actually last weekend we had our first live event. So there was a FAM Middle East event with one of our friends. Her name is Tam and her husband Ahmed, and they did an event in 24 Hours Hotel, and we did our first ever live show. And it was a lot of fun, and you can see that on our Instagram as well. For me, on my Instagram, I'm Ibrahim Abu-Ras _ at the end. So Ibrahim, Ibrahim, Aburas _ on Instagram. On TikTok, Ibrahim Abu-Ras, same thing, but dot in the middle. Actually, if you just write Ibrahim Abu-Ras on TikTok, you'll find me there.
It'll come up.
It will come up. And it will show you
changing your outfit for like jumping up and putting your
you've seen that video?
Yeah, I saw that one yesterday. Yeah, I saw it. I went, what is he doing?
It's very animated, very but if you know me, like that's what my office telling me. Like if you know me, you would know that this is how I am as a person.
Right, okay.
Just very animated.
It was very cool.
Took a lot of editing, not gonna lie, but in the end it worked out more or less. So you can find me there. So thank you so much for having me on your podcast.
Thank you so much. Yeah, no, it was amazing. Like it was so interesting, and like just finding out everything and chatting and seeing how it links to other parts of life and decluttering and organizing. It was awesome. It was awesome. So thank you.
Of course, because it can get out of hand unless you manage it in time. It will definitely get out of hand.
Yeah. Just you're doing good, like, and dumping the boxes on your parents. That's great.
I got the stamp of approval.
Like you're doing great. You're just dumping them back at your parents' house. That's great.
But it's stored in areas like in closets and stuff. So I'm taking care of things. Okay. It's all right.
Okay. Yeah. I'll wait for your parents to call me. Anyway, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you.
Thanks as always for listening to the Get Organised with Decluttr Me podcast. If you'd like to get more tips and advice, just follow me on social media at DECLUTTRME. And if you don't want to miss the next weekly podcast, just subscribe on all of your favorite podcast players. Also, Sneakerjeye as well, which I pronounced wrong as well. And anyway, thank you again and see you next week. Take care. Bye.
Bye. Thanks so much.